in England and Wales, usually you attend primary school from about 4 or 5 till 10 or 11, and then you attend high school from being 11 until you're 16. That's your compulsory education, and then you can choose to stay. If your school has a sixth form, you can choose to stay till you're 18, or you can go to college when you're 16 and get the same qualifications. A lot of schools in my area don't have a sixth form, which is part of the reason that I went to the school I did, but because mine did. So I was at school, at my high school, from the age of 11 to 18. Schools in Scotland are slightly different. In England and Wales, you go to school a little bit longer than you do in Scotland. I went to high school for 7 years, and if I was in Scotland, I would have gone for 6 years and then gone to university. And then Northern Ireland has its own system, so that's different to England and Wales and Scotland.
I went to boarding school from the age of 7. My parents lived in Germany at the time, so it was the logical thing to do. They were moving around every 2 years, so the best thing for me was to go and have steady friendships at one school. So I went when I was 7, as I said, and up until the age of 18. I was at a prep school from 7 till 14, and then I went to college until I was 18. I suppose the main difference, obviously, is that to normal day schools is that I was at school most of the time. I would stay there. We would occasionally be let out on the weekends and for half term, and generally it was a very fun place to be. Because you're spending all your time with your friends and your parents are nowhere near you. But yeah, generally it's great. There were quite a few activities put on for us. There were sports hall facilities, swimming pool. There were woods you could play in, and yeah, just lots of sport to do, lots of weekend activities. So I mean, there was loads to do. And yeah, it was just a really good, fun time on the whole. A lot of the boys did choose to go home quite often if their parents could have them, and most people had parents who lived in nearby towns or in London, so not too far away. That was quite good fun for those of us who had parents living overseas, because we could just go and stay with friends in nicer parts of the country. But it was actually more fun, I think, when you had a big group of people that stayed in for a weekend and you had the whole place to yourself and all the teachers were sort of quietly minding their own business.
Has it been strange going back to teach at school when I'm not that long away from being a student myself? Yeah, I think it's been quite strange, and particularly with the older years that I teach, I have not felt, incredibly older than them, and therefore there's a sort of relationship where you almost want to kind of be more chatty with them and have a bit of fun, but you've got to keep that line. I would say that I obviously, now that I'm a teacher, want their attention every second, and I'm annoyed if they're not, if they're talking or if they're looking away or if they're looking at the clock, and I'm just thinking, this is my lesson. So, but I do remember school being very tiring. And I guess one of the main things for me is that just occasionally in the morning when I'm on my way to school, I just think, gosh, I wish it could be me that was at the desk with just writing things down, whereas being the teacher is just so much work, and I don't think I realised how much work it was being the teacher. So I kind of now appreciate some of the teachers that I had, if that makes sense.